Good morning guys, and welcome back to the channel. So it's Sunday morning, it is cold, it is damp, and it is bloody miserable out there. But does that stop us going for a ride? Hell no. Does it mean we have to be slightly more careful? A little. Does it mean we have less fun? Absolutely not. We have just as much fun. So, a short ride, and then stop somewhere for a bit of brunch, and then go for another ride. So, let's go. Let's just put the visors down, and let's go. As you can see, the roads are wet. And it's surprisingly muggy. So I'm going to have to put the visor up for a bit. And I think what I'll do, because the roads are wet, I'll change the delivery mode. So we're going to go from dynamic to rain. There it is. So we're on the rain with a road setting. So slightly harder on the suspension, and then we'll take it from there. So let's have a go, and nice slow road driving, and let's go. By the way, this is me driving slowly and more careful. What that actually means to me is I'm a gear higher at any one particular point than I would normally be. So even though I am working my way through the speed range, I'm working the gears a lot more, because I'm always one gear higher, so I can chop down some of the savagery that this wonderful engine can give us. Now there goes the boys in blue and the girls, and we can continue. So it's going to be a lovely crisp cold day. So let's have a look at the temperature, shall we? It is, oh, it's 8 degrees centigrade. So it is cold, the damn cold. As you'll notice, I'm still in a summer weight, and the lean angles into the corners, because it is this damp, are not as exaggerated. So it's all about changing the way that you ride to match the conditions. And what you have to remember is because we're in autumn, as you can see, all the russet, lots of leaves on the road, which means slippy surfaces, because there's no grip on a leaf. So driving out of the corner slightly less. I'm still in my denims, although I think these are going to be the last few days, because the temperature is plummeting here. Coming up to winter, the temperatures will go into low single figures, and then it gets really cold. Will it stop me riding? Not in the slightest. Will it mean that I'll ride less? Not in the slightest. Will it mean that I'll ride slower? Yes. Will it also mean that I have less fun? Hell no. Will it mean that my jacket has to go into storage? Yes. No, probably not. But I will be wearing my Alpine Stars Jagura and the pants to go with it, and maybe thermals underneath as well. Depends really how cold it does get, because the temperature here, and as you can see, with it being so flat and open, the wind comes howling across there, and when they say it bites you to the bone, this thing's a Rottweiler. It bites you to the bone. But today, the sun's out, the sky's grey, and who cares? It means that we have a little bit more time for fun. Now I've got the visor up and the sun visor down, so you'll be hearing a lot more wind noise, but that's not too bad. You also get to hear Sam singing. And that's always a good thing. Now I don't know if you guys saw the mud on the road as well, but that's one of the disadvantages of living in a rural area. In the winter we do end up with mud on the road, and again with mud it has handling characteristics that make motorbikes very interesting to have. So there we have Kosching, another little suburb town of Ingolstadt. And over in the distance, yep, we can see rain. And we know rain's coming in. Well, I've got about an hour and a half to kill before the rain comes in, so what better way? Now, as in all Bavarian towns and cities, actually as in all towns and cities everywhere, there are recommended speed limits. So we'll be dropping the speed down and recognising the law, because that's always good. But we're very lucky because the police officers around Ingolstadt are a nice bunch of guys. Both motorcycle and car, so that's good. So it's actually nice and refreshing to have a nice police force. Riding in the States, they're less friendly. There are exceptions, but the majority of them are little pocketbook bully boys. They dislike motorcyclists because they think that we are all a bunch of hooligans, which is not always the case. But you have to respect the place you're in and respect the laws and the customs of the land. So it's Sunday morning. Bavaria being a typical Catholic environment, everything is shut except pubs, restaurants and gas stations. So I'll be going to a bistro, an Italian bistro, corsa italiana, and having breakfast there. So that's all good. So today, as you can see, the sky is not great, but you can't let it upset your enjoyment. Now, I know that sports bike riders, you have it slightly tougher in the winter because your bikes are more fidgety. Do I feel sorry for you? Hell no. You make your choice. You made your bed, you stick with it. Now, this type of weather, the autumn, the rain, the sun, proves why a K1600 or the R1250 RT, because that's a good bike as well, but why a touring bike, and being a sports touring bike, is the best combination for all year round riding. Sports tours also mean that you get to go out for long rides, especially if you have a Desert Fox. Now, I carry with me 27 litres of fuel in here, and a 20 litre Desert Fox, so it gives me great distance if I need it. It also means I can never run out of fuel, because you're never that far away from a fuel station, so that's pretty good. Now, everyone knows around here, this is where my BMW garage is. They're just over there, but we're not going that way. Now, I would go down here, turn left, and then head back into Ingolstadt. But for now, I'm going to go down to the bottom of here and hang a right. Now, in going right, I'm going to extend my ride, because I'm going to make as much hay while the sun shines. So I'm going to go right here. Take the corner slightly wider because it's damp. Ride slightly more defensive because it's damp. Ride slightly slower because it's damp. Adjust your riding to your conditions, then everything's perfect. It means you get to extend the fun. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm coming to a roundabout up here, and I'm going to go straight over and then go up to that little town you can see in the distance, which is a really nice place as well to ride through, and it gives me access to some real good twisty roads after that. The Autobahn is there to the right, so there's lots of little towns like this built along the Autobahn. But I'm not going anywhere near them. I'm heading towards Denkendorf. This is Hepburg that we're coming into at the moment. I'm going to head up towards Denkendorf, because there's some nice windy windies around there, and that'll make it just as much fun. Now, in going slightly north, we're going to have the cold again. So I may become a wuss and turn my heated seat on. But more than likely, I won't. Now, they've been doing some road works, and they haven't put the final topping down yet. So this is the worst I've ever seen a German road. Now, isn't that? So, now let's let them cross. Do my slow riding. See, down 4, 5, 6 miles an hour. the balance, one-handed, so that's a credit to just how well balanced Sam is in every way, to be honest. When the sun's out and it's nice and warm, you can throw her around. When it's like this, you can throw around slightly less, but you can still have as much fun. Now, I haven't forgotten, I will be doing a video talking about the history of the Boxer engine, the history of BMW motorbikes and how they came about, and then the evolution of the Boxer engine into its current RT variant. And then I'm also going to talk about the reasons why I moved onto Sam and moved into an inline 6. So I haven't forgotten about it. I will be doing it, and I'll be doing it when the weather becomes too bad for me to ride. So it makes more sense to do a little bit more video scheduled work, vlogging then, as it is to do it on a ride. So what I might do, have a chat with my friends at Pielmeier, and then get the RT 1250, get that as a loan bike, and then we can talk about the evolution of the Boxer engine from the 1950s all the way up to 2021, actually 2022. We'll also include that big behemoth of an R1800, which is an 1800 Boxer engine. Oh my god, does that fill me with excitement. It's good fun. Now what I can do, I can go through the town, or we got this little bypass, and this little bypass has a little bit more interest, but not when you're stuck behind a Volkswagen. And we all know we don't like Volkswagens. Now, coming into the back end of the town, we have two options. My bad, I'm going too quickly through the town. I was looking forward to getting to the far end, much happier. Being in towns and villages is not the favourite thing. But the BMW K1600, in this type of weather, is a good option. It has good cover and protection from the elements. Suspension for this is variable, so I can change it to the way I need it to be, and it just means that everything that we have is the right package. Now, round to Denkendorf, so we're going to go out, head towards those dark black clouds. So I'm not going to see what I'm going to do. I'm not going to promise I'm going to get to Denkendorf, because if it gets too bad, then what I'll do is I'll wimp out and take a left or a right, and then find an easier way back, a drier way. Now, I like it when they link the villages and the towns together like this, because it means that the roads are normally really good condition, relatively quick, and it also means then you have the great views. Now when you consider that where we are is a rural environment, then you can just see how well they look after the roads and how important road maintenance is, especially to a motorcycle. It means that I get to investigate Bavaria and then report on it back to you guys. So you get to have a look at it. Now, as you can see, we're coming into a wooded area, and again, you would think that with all these trees, the roads are horrendous, but they're not. Yep, there are leaves falling, but they're also cleaned a lot. As you can see, a real clean line, and that's really good. Now a BMW in Bavaria is not that unusual. K1600s, yeah they are. They're slightly rarer, there's few of them around. The most common bike around Bavaria is the R1250 GS, so the adventure bike. Great bikes. We'll be running them in Spain. It's very picturesque, isn't it? Red leaves, some green, some brown. We're really lucky. Slow down because it's a built-up area and there are pedestrians walking. There is a doggy out for a walk as well, so it's always good to be sensible and observe the speed limits. You see that as well. Taking the child out for some fresh air while he gets some exercise. Nah, not for me. So this is Denkendorf, and then what I'm going to do is, where possible, I'm going to hit the bottom and take a right, and then I think that brings me back towards Ingolstadt and some nice roads. Never been that way, but I'm open to always have a look. Now I can head towards Eichstätt or head towards Riedenberg. Now Riedenberg is a lovely little town on the river, so I think I'm actually going to head towards there. And then just hope that I've actually got the right Riedenberg. I thought she was going to come then, but whoa, not to worry. She knew what she was doing, she just didn't want anyone else to. Now, I'm coming up this way, and that was a quite a disconcerting sign saying Riedenberg up here. Riedenberg straight ahead. Okay, so we're going to have a look at Riedenberg, have a ride through. It should be good, and well, we'll just have a look. And if I remember right, there is a nice bit of road around here. I'm probably completely wrong, but hey, who knows? Now it's 20 kilometers to Riedenberg, so it means that Sam gets to stretch her legs and I get some fun. And it's always good to have fun. No brakes, just engine braking, so there it is. And the engine braking was nice and gentle. So as I was saying, the K1600 is one hell of a balanced bike. And actually, I know this is it's been around now for a few years, but when you think about the K1600 engine, they've made very few changes to the engine. But what we are seeing is that the research and development that they put into the development of the K1600 in the first place was painstakingly done. Now the K1600 could have been a money pit for losses for BMW. They took a big chance, but it worked. Now, when we talk about the history of the BMW, and you go back through the history, they did a 307, a little two-seater sports car that for its time was totally revolutionary. But that's not what people wanted from BMW. And BMW almost went bankrupt, out of business, because nobody wanted it. There's very few of those models available in working order. But I'll dig out a couple of photographs, because for me, when you look at the newer variants of some of the retro cars that are coming out, BMW was a trendsetter. And this is what I think they've done with the Boxer engine and now the inline six, because they set the bar that others have to follow. And can they actually follow? In many cases, no, they can't. In many cases, no, they don't want to. But BMW has its own agenda, and it's not to build bikes that are like others, which surprised me when they did that horrible bug-eyed change to the K1600. Leave the owl alone. The K1600 was iconic. It was seen for having an owl. Putting the LEDs in, have you made better visibility? Yeah, probably. But wouldn't too large LEDs have done exactly the same as Four Little Ones. Me think so, BMW. Me think you missed a trick. I think that you should change back and move away from the bug eye, because it's horrible. I will be staying with Sam, so I'm going to run her for as long as I did Becky. Now Becky, my R1100 RT, God rest her soul, was 24 years old when she finally left me. So let's see how long Sam will last, because manufacturing techniques, build quality, engine has all improved since 1997. I know I'm stating the obvious, but hey, sometimes it needs to be pointed out. Don't mess with a winning formula. And BMW haven't. The Boxer engine, apart from growing in size, has changed very little in its operation. Yes, they've used new materials. Yes, they've made it slightly smoother, slightly slicker, less industrial. But it's still a Boxer engine. It still can trace its lineage back to the 1953 R23. And the R23 is what the R18 has been based on. They've made the R18 as a homage to the 1953 R23, but they put the monster engine in it. They've put one huge engine in it. That was one very confusing road sign, because I don't know whether I'm going the right way or not. Hey, we'll end up getting lost, and I suppose I could put it into sat-nav, but you know what? What's the fun in that? Because then you wouldn't have this. Yep, it's grey, and yes, it's getting cooler. So I've been driving now for about 25 minutes, so let's see what the temperature's dropped to. Nope, it's still staying steady at 8.5 degrees, so it's quite balmy at the minute. No, it's not, it's bloody freezing, but who cares? Could I put the seats on? Yeah, I could. Will I put the seats on? At the moment, no. Because believe it or not, I'm actually enjoying this ride, and I'm not uncomfortable. And that's a testament to the protection here that Sam gives. Yep, I put a bigger screen in, but that is because I'm a bigger guy, so when you look, I still look over the top of the screen. But when the weather gets too bad, she comes up like that and protects me from the spray, the rain, completely. So this is a calm air. See Bailey screen? Wish they kept on making them, guys, so you could all get one, because